Hello and welcome back. This is Chubby, and you're watching Captain's Call live in Money Control. Two teams, one on the way up, the other fighting to survive. That is tonight's match in a single line, and everything about this game has that energy. At the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, match 25 of this IPL brings us Gujarat Titans versus Kolkata Knight Riders, and the gap between these two sides right now, it's not just in the points table. It is in confidence, clarity, and even strategy. Now, Gujarat Titans have won two consecutive away games against Delhi Capitals and Lucknow Super Giants, with Gill scoring 165 runs in three matches at an average above 50. Joss Butler back in form, and the bowling attack clicking with Prasidh Krishna and Rashid Khan leading the charge. They return home tonight carrying real momentum. Kolkata Knight Riders, meanwhile, have four defeats and a washout in five matches, still searching for their first win, rooted to the bottom of the table under Ajinkya Rahane. Their spin mainstays Narayan and Chakravarti have been below their best, tactical decisions have been questioned, and the squad's unused domestic firepower continues to warm the bench. But here is the thing about the Narendra Modi Stadium. This pitch does not stay the same throughout the match. Early on, it is batting friendly with true bounce and consistent carry, but as the inning progresses, it slows down, starts gripping, and spinners begin to play. In tonight's show, we will discuss what this toss really means on this pitch, figuring out how two very different captains are going to set up their 40 overs, and identifying the moments in this match where the game pivots completely. And I have two brilliant people to help me do exactly that. Joining me tonight is Ishan with Quick Pulse predictions, data, and match intelligence that goes beyond what we can see on the surface. And beside him, Sanjeev, with a long enough experience of covering this sport to know exactly how quickly this match could take an unexpected turn tonight. Hello, guys. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Chavi.
Hi. So, Sanjeev, my first question is for you. The toss is done. KKR has won the toss and opted to bat first. Rahane made an unusual choice as captains usually opt to field first on this field. Do you think this gamble might pay off tonight?
I hope it works for KKR because if you look at the track record on this pitch, basically the teams batting first and the teams chasing the results have been even Stevens between them, so there's not much to choose from. But in the recent past, like if you look at last year's IPL in 2025, scores of 200 plus were the norm on this pitch. So I think what KKR is trying to do is that they want to set a target for GT to try and take on. So that means that they're backing their batting this time. But unfortunately for them, Rahane has had one good score. Apart from him, Ankrish Raghuvanshi has been in good form. But the likes of Cameron Green, Rinku Singh, Roman Powell, they are yet to fire. So I think it's a big risk. But KKR is backing their batting this time. And they're hoping that if they put up a score of about 50 plus in power play and lose just about one wicket, then they may be in the game. But they'll have to set a total of 200 plus, at least 210, if they want to win this game.
All right, the power play tonight is where this match gets shaped, and this stadium's big dimensions add a unique layer to how both these teams approach it. Ishan, what is your power play target for the batting first team tonight? And which single bowler from either side do you back to be the most impactful in those first six overs?
Hi, Chavi. If I were to go by what Sanjeev was saying, a 200 plus score, then you need in the first 7 overs, you need to have that 70 to 80 to 90 score in order to achieve that. Now, KKR has made a slight change. Tim Seifert is coming in. Allen is not there. I think that would be interesting to see what happens to him. Let's go to the quick pulse and see what happens here. So Seifert in the first 3 overs has a strike rate of about 144, right, and a dismissal rate of about 50%, which is very high given the situation, right? If he plays in for the third over or something, probably his dismissal rate goes much higher. But Raghuvanshi is there and others are there, and let's see how they play out on this pitch, especially on this thing. And we want to see basically how Rahane comes in, and if he comes in, how does he play in these overs, and what does he bring in during this period? Because he has good strike rates, he can perform, but it's not happened till now. And so I would expect anything to 80 to 90 is a very competitive score in the first 7 overs if they bring about.
Now we've seen the power play predictions, but if you had to circle just 3 overs on the scorecard right now and say these are the overs that decide tonight's winner, which would they be, Ishan?
I would say for KKR, rather, it would be the fourth to eighth over I would want to see. Their dismissal rates have been lower during that period, and their strike rate has been high, around 153 around that period. So I think that would be the thing. And for Gujarat Titans, actually, the strongest bowling period is 12 to 16 when your Prasidh Krishna and Mohammad Siraj and Rabada actually start kicking in and start getting those balls in really into that period. If Gujarat is playing, then the batting period for them with Butler and all coming in is basically between over 8 and 12. Washington Sundar, Butler and all playing in. But KKR also has a strong edge in those bowling overs as well with Narayan and Chakrabarti. But they need to perform, as Sanjeev was saying again. Somebody needs to perform there in order for KKR to take this win. And a 200 plus score would be very much required on this pitch for sure.
All right. Now
You know,
for
sorry,
Gujarat.
Chabi, sorry to just butt in. I don't think Chakravarti is playing because is he on the playing 11? I don't think so. I couldn't see his name on that list.
Oh, he's not there.
And if he's not there, then it's a problem for KKR because they left only with Sunil Narayan. And as Ishan rightly pointed out, see here, the slower bowlers and the spin bowlers play a very important role. And I just want to, talk
I
about
think
Tim
he's
Seifert.
there. I saw him there, Sanjeev, probably. But any case, you are right on that point that if he's not there, then it's even bigger problem for them, right? But I could see
So,
his name in the list. Probably
okay.
that's the.
So then that's good news. I just want to come back to the point of why Finn Allen is not playing. And if you look at Crick Pulse, as you said, Finn Allen has a strike rate of 216, but he has a dismissal rate of 66.7. And
Yeah.
when I look at Seifert, uh, his strike rate is much lower, 144, but his dismissal rate is at 50%. So that means that um, KKR KKR has opted just type Seifert. You'll
Yeah,
see.
144 and 50.
Yeah, so I think they've chosen stability over explosive batting in this case. So I think the whole plan is to make about 50-55 runs in the power play and not lose a wicket, because chances
But
of Finn Allen getting out are much higher than Tim Seifert. So maybe
but
that's a logic they're
Sanjeev,
backing their batsmen.
I think you'll have to give something to Siraj and Prasidh Krishna also on that pitch as to how they perform. And it's of course their home pitch also. And Prasidh Krishna has been doing very well on that front. So we'll have to see how they perform
Yeah,
against them because that would be the real test of endurance for them.
yeah, maybe that's why they opted for a more stable opening pair in Tim Seifert. So let's hope
But
for the
I think
best.
that's what Rahane said during the toss that they are trying to, test out all the combinations for what can sit in and what can work for them. But I guess that's coming to my next question, Sanjeev. This was what I was going to ask you about the bowling lineup. We've already discussed their batting lineup, but for Gujarat, Prasidh Krishna leads the purple cap race. They supported by Rashid Khan's economy and Ravada's pace. But on the other hand, KKR is struggling with its bowling lineup. Now, Varun Chakravarti is wicketless. He hasn't taken any wicket yet. Harshit Rana and Akash Deep are injured. Can Kolkata's bowlers cause a genuine upset here tonight, or does GT's batting have too much quality for this attack to contain? Sanjeev.
I think the odds are loaded in favor of GT, because the batting has also come off. Gill has been scoring runs. Sai Sudarshan has been amongst the runs. Butler has been just hitting bowlers all over the park. So I think the batting has come together, and they have the likes of Prasidh Krishna, as Ishan said, and then they have Rashid Khan in their rank. So their bowling attack with Siraj, so they look like a more complete side. And for KKR, it's more of hit and trial method and see which combination works for them and which doesn't. In the first few games, they opted for an explosive, batting opening, and then trying to defend the runs. That doesn't seem to have worked for them. So I think that's why Tim Seifert has come in. I would say that the dice is heavily loaded in favor of GT. Plus, it's their home ground as well.
All right, now one last question, and I want your prediction on this, both of you. If KKR are to win tonight, what is the one thing that absolutely has to go right for them? Sanjeev, if you can go first.
One can only hope that they get about 55, 60 runs in the power play without losing a wicket. And they'll need someone between Robin Powell and Rinku Singh to come good in the death overs. Because even if they get a fantastic start, the remaining batsmen have not played well, not been in good form except for Raghuvanshi. So I think it will be imperative for Robin Powell or Rinku Singh to come good today. Otherwise, the game is heavily loaded in favor of GT. And a score of 200, 210, less than that, I think GT will be able to chase it down quite easily.
All right, and Ishan, what about you?
I think Butler and Gill would be a problem. You get them out, and probably the way is much easier for you going forward, right? Otherwise, it's a difficult pitch to play, especially on that one. And I think Sai Sudarshan, still the thing is the strike rates are high, but he gets out much often, so you can have that there. But I think Butler and Gill are the people. Two, you need to take care of those power play or those last 4 overs. Those can change the game, and especially with Butler and Gill, if they start doing what they do, 200 plus strike rates and everything. On this side, I think Rinku Singh has to perform to that level of 200. Last 4 overs would be very critical from that perspective, as we saw in yesterday's match also, right? By the time it came to the last few overs, it was all done. So I think that needs to change.
All right. Thank you so much for putting in your predictions and being on this show. And what a chat this has been. Thank you so much, Ishan and Sanjeev. And with that, viewers, Ahmedabad is hot. The stadium is iconic, and this match has more at stake for one team than any other this season. But before the match begins, the comments are open, and tonight we have a specific question for you. Do you believe KKR can still turn this season around, or is tonight effectively the end of their 2026 hopes? Drop your verdict down below. And with that, we've reached the end of our show. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Money Control Live for another match, another conversation, and another evening of cricket that deserves to be broken down properly. Till then, this is Chabi signing off and have a very good night.